must focus on to really take that pole position in global AI race?
Wow, what a long question. And what I didn't hear from any of you was big applause. CEO of India AI Mission, he set up the place, big claps. And to everybody who's standing there and beyond the first line, I've got series of questions for you. So you're going to get involved with me. The first question that I have, how many of you use ChatGPT? The entire room. Only the person in the uniform is not using it. How many of you believe that ChatGPT is equal to AI? Wow, not a single person raised the hand. So you absolutely think AI is beyond ChatGPT. And indeed it is. Because AI is not a tool. AI is about manufacturing. AI is about manufacturing intelligence. And therefore, the work that the government of India is doing through India AI Mission is so profound because you are seeping into the Indian infrastructure story intelligence. And you're bringing an intelligence that belongs to India. And that intelligence is called digital experiences. A lot of people call it data. What you and I talk every day, what we exchange as a thought, what we work during our daytime, what we interact belongs to you and I. Each one of us. Even with people who are on the first line, okay, all those who are sitting in the sofa, the data belongs to you. And that data has belonged to you since our country came into existence. And it's built on lots of common sense, lot of sensibilities. It got linguistic complications. It's a large population, and it is a very talented country. Now, if you keep this as a perspective, you will start understanding why there is a disruption in the marketplace. Where you stored it, where did you store it, where you stored it, where did you store it? In digital warehouses, often called data centers. What did you store? Photographs, emails, audit reports. When did you access them? When you wanted it. Retrieval model. What do you do today? You generate intelligence, which is continuum. It's a commodity. You manufacture it. How do you do it? You talk to, he's mentioned that, electricity. Electricity is your number one thing. With electrons and with your digital experience, you process it and out comes tokens. Tokens is the unit of intelligence. What you see in ChatGPT, there are tokens. How fast those tokens basically translate what you ask ChatGPT into answers. That is one way of doing it in natural language, but I can use the same technique for scientific simulations. If I need to understand that Jaipur, that is so close to Delhi, why is it so dense, and yet why the quality of the air is better, I got to simulate it. If I need to understand that if Rajasthan is home to the traders, and where does the trading gives them maximum margins, I need to understand that. I need to simulate that. If I need to drive a car, I can understand what the behavior of a car and how is it going to react by understanding the structure below it. In simpler words, I can take anything, be it proteins, be it car behavior, could be anything that is in motion, break it into tokens, and just like ChatGPT talks to you in a language, I can talk there. But how do I do this? I do that by building AI factories. I don't do it by building data centers. I translate those data centers into AI factory. like Mr. Singh just mentioned, the visual power that you need to have to be sovereign, you got to break it into 5 blocks. Over the lunch table, the conversation was all about power. Rajasthan has very good quality power. You have access to solar power. You know how to store power. That's a massive advantage that you have. Now, if you have power and energy is the predominant layer on which everything gets built, that becomes extremely precious to you. If you can think about how do you take that power and build a converter on top of it, then that's not normal computing. Normal computing was built 60 years back. Your smartphone has the same architecture that was introduced 60 years back. That converter is different. That's not built only on CPUs. It's built on CPUs plus GPUs. That converter, when it comes into play, gets translated into what he called as infrastructure. What I would call is as AI factory. So the combination of the power, the converter, the infra, and your digital experience that we call data, then moves into what we call as models. Every day you hear in newspapers, in magazines, there's a race towards building models. There's also another narrative in India that we don't build frontier models. We will be the capital of use cases. And that's fine. That's great. There's an alternate to the Chinese way of doing it, the American way of doing it, what I would call as the Indian way of doing it, but that commences from the models. Why there's a third way? That third way is fundamentally because you strongly are a very different nation that speaks officially in 22 languages, 1,500 dialects. More importantly, you are a populous country and affordability is very different here. When you have large transactions and you got very, very small values, you got to innovate in that. And when you innovate in that, then you get answers like Aadhaar. You get answers like UPI. That's why you have digital public infrastructure, which is frictionless. And then what you do here in India becomes applicable to 3/4 of the world. Not to that 1/4 which is rich. They know how to do it and build up, and that's why India is unique. And that's why we got to build the models here. But the models need to translate that themselves into applications. And applications produce something very different. Now this room probably has, approximately about 250 people. Imagine there were 750 people sitting here, 500 of them invisible. Imagine if you were sitting here, but you also had a digital assistant with you, sitting with you, unseen, but taking all the notes that Vishal is talking about, and very quickly you dissecting what I'm talking about, understanding what it means, giving you new ideas, and by the time you walk out of this room, you actually implemented that idea. That's what the digital workforce does for you. And the last bit, why India needs to do this? Because India is in the beginning of its prosperity. India is home to the finest engineers. India has done with just approximately about 20 million programmers to support 1.4 billion people. Now imagine all 1.4 billion people in their natural language become part of this. What will they need as support? What they'll need support is how to work in real world. In the real world, you'll use physical robots. For physical robots, you require to understand physics of the world. Once the physics starts working, this room will not only be 750 people, it will be closer to 1,000 people, because those robots will also work along with you and take those inputs. And that's why sovereignty is important. That's why it is today for India, and that's why it has to be done in India, and that's why India will do for India and for globe, and that's why India will be a recall. And I think nobody can thank him more for what he's trying to drive on behalf of all of us.
Very well said, Vishal. As you rightly said, India is at the start of its prosperous journey, especially if we look at the Viksit Bharat. But that would mean this revolution and any other would be very inclusive. So continuing on this conversation around AI for all, one of the trends that we are seeing is that the growth around AI is actually concentrated to tier 1 cities first, but then innovation and creativity should not be limited by your regional proximity. So I would really like to know, under the mission and overall as a leader, how are you ensuring that AI growth happens not only in these tier 1 cities, but also a startup in Jaipur or a researcher in Jodhpur, so that they can also partake in this India story?
See, like one criticism that very often we have for AI is that today it is controlled by a few companies and a few countries. The gamut of AI, the entire development has actually been led by, you can count the number of companies who have actually contributed to the entire growth of AI in the lately, though AI has been around since 1956 when the whole term was first coined in Dartmouth in a conference. But especially with the chat GPT moment of November 22, it has become like more democratized when most people have started becoming users of AI. So how do we change that? Like, how do we ensure that those who are users of AI currently, they also get to play a role in how the technology is developed, how the governance structured regarding development of this technology, development, this adoption is developed. This requires several components. First and foremost, of course, what we refer to as democratizing access. Democratizing access to compute, democratizing access to data sets, democratizing access to algorithms and models and applications. So when it comes to compute, like for a country of our size, and especially a country which is known for its digital strength, for its technological strength, given the strength of our companies, our workforce, given that they are part of almost every major tech company. Till last year, we had 600 GPUs, A100s to count on at the CDAC facility at Pune. So wherever we would go, wherever any consultation we would do with academia, with startups, researchers, one common refrain was that where are the GPUs, how do we get access? If we have to train a model or build an application, we don't have GPUs. So we came out with an interesting model after we got the cabinet's approval for AI mission for ensuring that instead of government acquiring GPUs, buying GPUs, setting up data centers, which would have taken a lot of time, we came out with a structure in which we democratized setting up of AI by incentivizing the industry to set up data centers and to provide compute. So through that, we have kind of so far authorized provisioning of 38,000 GPUs, out of which almost 25,000 has been set up, and rest are in the process of being set up. But the cost of access have been reduced. So today, any researcher sitting in any tier 2 college or any startup working in any STPI across the country or any IT park across the country can actually access these GPUs at a very low cost of 65 rupees per GPU per hour compared to the $2.5 to $3 per GPU hour, which is available anywhere. So that's one step that has been done for ensuring that. Second thing that is required is for building AI applications or training models is access to data sets. So as has been mentioned this morning, that the AI Kosh platform, instead of everyone trying to get data sets, trying to invest into data sets, we are trying to provision data sets from key government departments and even private sectors so that those who need data sets can use them and train models or develop applications. Another key requirement that is required in a country as diverse as India is to offer services in all languages and to offer voice-enabled services. Again, for that you require language data sets. You require models for speech-to-speech, speech-to-text and text-to-text translations. Everyone building any application, every domain will require that. So again, that is being provided as a common infrastructure which is available to all, whether you are a developer in a tier 2 city or in a tier 3 city or a student studying in the second year. You can use the Bhashini APIs for building your applications in various languages and tools. That's again something that has been offered. Third component that comes out is talent. How do you ensure that you nurture talent? You provide support to those who are studying AI, who are learning how to train models or develop applications. So towards that, as I mentioned earlier, we have offered fellowships, and these fellowships are available to all colleges across India. And if I look at the number of colleges who are accessing that, I find that more colleges and more universities from smaller towns are applying for these fellowships and getting them. Another thing that is required is in the data economy, a lot of jobs will be created which will require data annotation. In fact, some of you would have heard of a company called Scale AI. What does Scale AI do? They basically, they don't train models or build AI applications. They are in the data labeling and data annotation work. And their CEO, Alexander Wong, he was hired by Meta with $1 million salary. 28-year-old guy who is contributing to build the frontier AI models in one of the top AI labs across the country. So data annotation, data analysis, data scientists, these jobs will be required in the AI age, in the data economy age. So we are setting up around 570 data labs across the country in ITIs, in polytechnics, in smaller cities, so that these ITIs, polytechnics, instead of producing mechanics and fitters, but these mechanics fitters will find difficult to find jobs in the EV age. The engines will be there, so the roadside garages will not exist, just like the STD booths have vanished. So very often the roadside garages will go, and where will you employ the mechanics and fitters? So we need to train people into data science, into data annotation, into building, into writing code, into understanding how AI works. So we are these data labs that are being set up, and many of them, most of them are in smaller cities. That gives an opportunity to the youth who might not have even done graduation to learn this science, to understand how data science works. Courses like UI AI, again, the audience is the larger population across the country. The startup financing pillar, the way we are setting up centers for excellence, we have approved setting up 58 centers of excellence across the country in which provide funding support to startups who are working on AI or we are working on AI products and AI applications. In Rajasthan has also got 2 centers for excellence. So we are working with the state to operationalize them, to set them in motion and to provide them seed grants, to provide them funds when they need it the most at the pre-seed stage, seed stage, to ensure that we can incubate AI companies and AI startups in smaller cities. So all these steps are being taken under India AI mission to ensure that AI does not remain a purview of a few, but is democratized, and we are truly able to achieve the objective of AI for all.
Thank you, sir. That's an amazing, amazing thought. Vishal, I just want to extend this thought, and sir talked about democratization and affordability. Rajasthan as a state houses more than 7,300 startups, and we spoke to a few of them, and then also elsewhere too. One of the biggest questions, challenges that they have posed to us is in terms of the affordability or access to the best-in-class AI infrastructure, not only meeting India's needs, but also of a global standard. So, and of course, because NVIDIA is kind of leading the way in terms of really giving that access in terms of infrastructure. In an Indian context, what do you think, in addition to what, of course, AI Mission is doing, and it will take its time, can be done to really reduce that kind of an entry barrier, at least from an infrastructure perspective?
Okay, excellent question. So let's think about what is NVIDIA really about. So if the simplest way to think about NVIDIA is that if there was a problem that was extremely hard to solve, NVIDIA gets involved first to learn how to solve that problem and create a solution towards it. So we build for ourselves. And typically when we build for ourselves, it's only meant so that we can test that can that be applied to the larger world. Now the next question is that if I can apply for myself, how do I allow access of that to everyone? That we do through disaggregation. That's why you'll hear often words, NVIDIA's founder model. NVIDIA's founder model is not a model of a language model type or a founder model of anything that we introduce in the marketplace. If I build an entire compute that is cheapest in its energy expense, produces maximum tokens per kilowatt, then how did I do it? I'll open it out. I will give that recipe to you so that you can build what you want to build at every layer, so that you can now decide what kind of dish you want to cook for yourself. I'm not going to come there to tell you how to use it, but help you build it up. Not only you, but the entire world is what we do. So we take a system, we break it down at the base level chips, we'll break down the chips, that this is how the chip was built. Here it is how it was connected together. This is how the formation was made. We'll give you the entire story there. Layer above that, which is what people call the operating system of AI, the models. We bring you open source models which are good, like the frontier models, and we'll open out the training data for you. There's an old saying, those who own the weights own the destiny. So the models are built on weights and biases. If you own your weights, if you have the training data, you can use the reference and build it up. One layer above that, if you're going to be serving to 1 billion people, how are you going to do it? It's a massive work. Imagine how many queries you put every day just on ChatGPT and where you're asking questions. But imagine if you're going beyond ChatGPT, how many queries will you put? How many services will you run? What we call in our language microservices. How do we package that into small containers so that they can work effectively? Now, all these work in a data center that could be about 10 times bigger than this room. Just a time before this, a room like this was meant for only one application. We used to call it supercomputing. If you wanted to just get a forecast for weather, you'll build one data center, one application. Now, in the same data center, you are running hundreds and thousands of applications. How will they seamlessly work in the same format? So how do we help you to do those containers? How do we help you to now basically create your IT departments and evolve them into HR departments for digital workers? How do we make sure that you basically very quickly understand physics and you have lots of autonomous things? Many people have told me this, that in India, you will never have an autonomous car, because no autonomous car can work in India. There's another way to look at it. What if I brought in all autonomous cars and abolished all humans driving from it? They'll all follow lanes. They'll all stick to rules and regulations. Everything will start working seamlessly. There'll be less chaos. So it just depends upon how you look at it. Is glass half empty or the glass is half full? I think the opportunity is India. We are here as architects. We are here to help you build. We are here to make India live this desire. If you take Mr. Singh's entire discussion, he's saying AI for all. AI for all, built in India, for India, can be built in Jaipur, can be built in Rajasthan, just like you were known for your heritage, known for your trading capabilities. You can be known for your intelligence capabilities. You can work in Jaipur, you can work in any city of Rajasthan, and we can help you build that so that the prosperity is there where you were born, and you do better than you've ever done, and you participate in this global growing part. So think about us as your friend. Think about us as an architect who will help you translate your idea into reality, and will share every recipe with you.
Thank you, Shaul. I'll ask one question to both of you. It's a bit of an existential question. We talk about Viksit Bharat in 2047, when India would be the youngest country in the world. But at the same time, with AI coming in, we are also talking about the risk and the fear of the job losses as well. For the last 3 decades, India has been enjoying the journey of software development, not only for us but for the world. And as Vishal mentioned, we are one of the biggest exporters when it comes to other industries. And we were okay to be software developers, but with AI, the world is changing. We don't have that kind of a runway anymore. So I want to ask you, how do we address this contradiction? India produces more than 20 lakh graduates every year. Many of them are software engineers and of course other streams as well. But you have been talking about AI cutting across all of the domains and the streams. So how do we address this contradiction that we continue to be on that journey towards Viksit Bharat, but also address the gaps that exist in the way we produce the skilled youth for tomorrow? Both of you.
See, the biggest risk and the biggest challenge when it comes to jobs and when it comes to taking advantage of the time that is coming in is that traditionally our IT industry, the entire software industry, right from Y2K to beyond, and the entire outsourcing industry, kind of built on the ability, the cognitive skills and the ability that Indians had in solving global problems by using technology. That was the key skill with which we were able to kind of go everywhere, to solve problems for banking industry, for transportation industry, anywhere in the world. Today, that cognitive skill is becoming more democratized, and the basic software coding skills are being challenged by a $20 bot. So how do we ensure that in the age of AI, we remain relevant and we ensure that our IT industry does not become a liability in the way it is? So in the problem statement only lies the opportunity. Because even though there are coding agents, there are lots of tools with which you can write code, you can develop code, but again, to deploy that, you need people who will be able to integrate agentic AI with legacy IT systems. It's not that legacy IT systems will be chucked and agents will come and start running the show. So there will be a lot of opportunities for Indian IT industry and Indian trained manpower to supercharge themselves with these agents, with these tools, and then go ahead and offer services which become much better, much faster, much more efficient than we were doing so. So what I foresee is that there will be huge growth of AI transformation services, which will mean building agentic AI for various enterprises and organizations across the world. And this would require ensuring that we impart the right skills in our trained workforce, in our trained software industry. So whether it's a TCS or Infosys or a Wipro or a Tech Mahindra, they will need to invest in this. Maybe they should build their own cursors and the GitHub copilots. They should have their own coding agents with the repository of code that a company like TCS has. They can have their own agents, give it to their own people, and do the jobs that they are doing much more efficiently, much more effectively. This will ensure that we remain relevant. This will require also overhaul of the curriculum that we have in our colleges, in our universities. Ensure that these skills are given right from the beginning. School education and higher education department, AICT, they're already working towards that. There are this UA AI initiative is also a step in that direction. So we'll need to adequately invest in education, curriculum reform, skilling, reskilling, upskilling, ensuring that we embrace the technology rather than we think that this is a trend and this will go away. It's going to stay, and companies and individuals who adopt it stand to benefit a lot, and they will be able to insulate themselves with the risk that is there. But if we don't do anything, then the fear of job losses, the fear of losing out is very high.
Thank you, sir. Vishal, if you would like to answer this.
You still want to add? Okay, I'll try. He's done it so well. How many of you know software as a service? How about translating that into service as a software? So change it from software as a service to service as a software. All of us can participate, because we don't need to learn the language of the computer has learned our language. Yet, there are some wonderful software engineers, and they need to prosper. Mr. Singh and I were in conversation with somebody who's very dear to all of us. And this is how the conversation went. Think China. For a minute, just think China. What is the visual map that you get? You see lots of people who are working in a manufacturing plant, often called labor. Why did everybody go to China? Because of cost arbitrage. The lowest cost to manufacture anything was China. In recent years, what did China do to that labor? They augmented them with robotics and increased their productivity by substantial number. Not 10%, not 20%, not 100%, by substantial number. When the world looked at it, they figured out for the same unit of cost, the productivity and the return is of a different order altogether. Then he said, think India. What emerges in your mind? Both when you look at it at India and India globally, software engineers. Let's go ahead and augment the software engineers. That's our natural resource. What Mr. Singh just mentioned is that we got to have our own code generator models. Sure, we can coexist with global ones. But what we did work as a nation when mainframes were transitioning to mini computers, to personal computer, that data is with us. When Y2K was upon us, that data is with us. If we have the data, if we have the knowledge, if that's our IP, let's go and translate that and augment our software engineers. Like what he rightfully said, it's not that one fine day you just moved away. You still have classical systems. You have to have those in existence. You will have new systems. They need to still work. And more importantly, people need to integrate. With that productivity increase that happened in India, the IP belongs to India. That productivity level gives you many more dollars than what it gives you today. You continue to shine, and you still become from a back office of the world to the front office of the world. You become a recall in being called the global capital of intelligence. Think about it. When you think about design, what's the first nation that emerges in your mind? France. What's the other name that comes in? Italy. When it comes to intelligence, what's the name that should come in? India. If somebody says, can you think beyond? They should say Rajasthan. They say think beyond, they should say Jaipur. That's our possibility. Come, ladies and gentlemen, let's get down to doing it. Let's stop talking, and we are into it. This is our moment. Let's not miss it.
Thank you, Vishal. You know, we can keep going on hearing the both of them. It's like a master class in inspiration, innovation, storytelling, but we have to stop somewhere. I'll ask one question each to both of you, maybe take 1 or 2 minutes to answer this question. Vishal, you and NVIDIA are basically the front of innovation, so you come across great ideas, but in your own experiences, what are those 1 or 2 innovations or ideas that have surprised you yourself? That's something that you think India must look at.
Okay, I'll share one. All of you can pay me the IP for this. So think about how software was designed, deterministic. So now, what is the number one problem each one of us has? How do we get credit? Think about that person who needs to get credit so that his farm can produce better and he can have his livelihood. In the original way of writing software, somebody would say, please lend him credit only if his score rating is above 650. If not, flag it to me. When got flagged, those set of strata of society never got into the credit ratings. Change the story. India built UPI. India's UPI knows every individual wherever he or she is working through their transactions. There's an individual who comes from Rajasthan and is working in Bangalore and is shining these marbles in every apartment of the building that is working, and is going to continue working there for 2 years' time. Now I know that he gets paid by the builder in Bangalore every second of the month. And I also know that by the second evening, the money comes to his family in Jaipur. And his family then goes and expenses the money to buy their ration. But they have a need because the mother is not doing too well. She requires to be treated. In my normal system, I wouldn't be allowed to give him any credit. But now that I know that there's consistency, he pays, we know who the earning member is, I can give him credit. Think about this idea that almost 30% of our country still is not in the gamut of credit, despite knowing every Indian through Aadhaar and every Indian able to use UPI. Just using the power of UPI, I can bring that economy into the formal economy. So that could be a good idea.
Thank you, Vishal. Sir, the last question to you. Of course, the responsibilities you carry to take India towards this AI journey. There's the AI summit that's coming up in the month of February, where India would be hosting the world and talk about the innovations that are happening. I would like to really ask, what are some big ideas or big initiatives that the government of India is thinking, which can really, really change the gear for us in India as far as AI is concerned? Of course, if they are shareable.
No, see, like most of it I've already spoken about, and what we need to do is, in fact, I've been asked this question multiple times, is that what is it that we are expecting from hosting the summit? So, of course, we are getting a very good response. We are getting most world leaders coming in, almost 15 heads of state, almost 50 other ministers, almost all the top CEOs, including, I hope, Vishal's boss. I want him to admit it publicly so that he ensures that he comes.
I formally declare that there was a conversation between the minister and Jensen said that it was in India that I framed the word sovereign in September of 2018. My love for India is so big, I will be there and he will be there.
So leading Jensen Huang, in fact, and almost all the top CEOs whom you can think of, whether it's Sundar Pichai or Dario or Mukesh Ambani or Sam Altman, all of them, like, in fact, will be here in India for the summit. And we're also getting all the top researchers, in fact, from the field of academia, whether it's Fei Li, who is very often known as the goddess of AI, and including Yoshua Bengio, Yan LeCun, almost all the top names from the Bay Area, all of them will be here. So the idea is that when so many people come in, what is it that we as a country, as a nation are going to offer? The whole world looks at India as the place which pioneered India Stack, which built digital public infrastructure, shows how technology can be used at scale. So this opportunity is going to be, number one, show us our collective strength with regard to our ability to build AI applications, to position ourselves as the AI use case capital for the world, so that any company that gets incorporated anywhere for building any AI application, they should think of sourcing their people from India. India is the storehouse of being a knowledge economy from thousands of years ago to a knowledge economy in the present day, will have a huge thing to offer to the whole world. That will be number one. Number two, give an example for adoption of AI to the whole global south. Because we are also positioning it as the first summit that is being held in the global south. So how we can show to the world that how we have tried to democratize access to compute, data sets, models, applications to some extent. We are not as where the Western countries are, but we have been trying to build up a model in which it shows how low-cost compute can be made accessible. So this model of democratizing access to core AI infrastructure will be there for the other countries to adopt, and a lot of funding agencies, whether it's Asian Development Bank or World Bank or the various foundations like the Gates Foundation, are looking at replicating this model across the world. That's again another deliverable that we have from the summit. Third, we want to offer to the world a repository of AI use cases. the AI application that we are developing in agriculture, in healthcare, in education, and therein many of the states are at the pioneer in developing these applications. In fact, those of you who have time to visit visit the exhibition, there is a brilliant initiative from the Tonk district within Rajasthan, the Padhai initiative, wherein how AI is being used to educate school kids in the state of Rajasthan in a very small district called Tonk, where the district collector and the local NIC unit has built that application which is helping improve learning outcomes. So such use cases, use of AI for diagnosing tuberculosis, diabetic retinopathy, cataract, these repository of use cases as AI commons is being something that will be offered to the world. The next deliverable that we have is that how do we build safe and trustworthy AI? How do we ensure that whatever AI is being developed does not have bias, does not have hallucinations, or does not result in misuse in the form of creating deep fakes, or ensuring tools to for bias mitigation, or tools for machine learning, or tools for anonymization, tools for privacy preservation, tools for detecting deep fakes, tools for labeling AI generated content. A lot of that development is happening across the country, but more so in IIT Jodhpur, where Professor Mayank Vatsa and his team are working on such projects. So we are trying to create an AI safety commons, which will again be a set of tools which will open source, which will be available for the whole world to adopt. We are trying to create a network of scientific institutions wherein all scientific institutions working on cutting edge research will be able to share information, share expertise. We are working on building means and tools for building capacities in the public sector and beyond for that will be offering to the whole world. So we have several deliverables that we have plans for showing to the world, showing India as one of the emerging countries. The Stanford AI Index rates us as the number 3rd country behind US and China, but the gap, the delta currently is too huge. But we also want to take this opportunity as a platform to build momentum across India, to build momentum in states, to build momentum in Rajasthan and Jaipur, to ensure that collectively we leverage the power of our youth and our startups to move up on the ladder, and to ensure that we are now able to catch up with the best in the world and maybe leapfrog.
Thank you so much. I know we can keep going on, but we have to stop here. But I know the journey would continue, and I want to ask all of you to give a very big round of applause to these gentlemen who are leading the AI journey for India. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you so much, sir. Indeed, a very informative and interesting session. I'd like to invite Shri R.L. Solanki, Joint Secretary and Technical Director, DOITC, to please join us here on stage and felicitate our speakers. Indeed, one of the most informative sessions on AI. I'm sure that we not only got a lot of information out of it, but something that usually we don't talk about in a very different sense, in a very informative sense was there. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and for all the knowledge. And I'm sure that all of us present in this room, we all definitely got a lot of knowledge and information out of it. The only way we can let them know that we are very grateful for the time is just keep clapping while they're getting this felicitation, because while this felicitation is on stage, one way of we showing our gratitude is by just those claps and letting them know that all the time they gave, it means a lot to us. Thank you so much, sir. Definitely. Thank you so much, Samir, as well. I think asking the right questions is the most important to get the correct information out. So once again, with this, here we come to an end to another very interesting session. I'm sure that you all must be gauged with knowing, what's next, what's happening next. And for you, here comes the next session. This session talks about precision, prevention, and public good. The next health revolution. This is what the panel is going to talk about. And to take this panel forward, I'd first of all like to invite on stage the moderator for the session, who's going to bring all the questions in your mind here on the stage. I'll request Mr. Karthik Suri, GM of Future Skill, to please join us here on stage. And Mr. Swadeep Singh, GM of Data Science, to please join us here on stage. Here comes a session that talks about the overview of India AI, overview of India AI tool, and India's vision of AI Impact Summit. A big warm welcome. Thank you, ma'am. Also now I would like to invite on stage Mr. Anil Kumar Singh, Executive Director, Rajcom Info Service Limited, to felicitate all our speakers. A big warm welcome to all our speakers, and ladies and gentlemen, everyone in the room. Let's clap and let's welcome all the speakers. I'm sure that this session is going to be a very interesting one. Welcome Kavita ma'am, welcome Karthik sir, welcome Sudeep sir. We're looking forward to listen to all your insights. And now I would like to hand it over to Kavita ma'am to take it forward.
Good evening, all of you. And I think we are the second last session. So let's try and make it interesting. In fact, since morning you have been hearing about India AI mission. So we will be taking you in detail what the mission is, how the mission has been conceptualized, what exactly is the output, and what is the way forward in this mission. Before we start into this, just wanted to mention that as the government worldwide is looking into digitalization, with digitalization, if AI is integrated, it will become a very innovative way of bringing the output of any solution. So AI will bring, basically what AI will do is that it will bring a smarter data-driven decision, and most importantly, it will make sure that the delays which generally are there in the public service delivery, that can be overcome by integrating AI into the digitalization. And also that AI offers a way forward. It will make basically that the government will now become more proactive, more predictive, rather than becoming a reactor, because otherwise what was happening is that we were doing digitalization thinking that this kind of a service is useful to a citizen. But now, since if we have integrated AI on top of digitalization, we will be able to do a better decision, faster decision, and we will know what exactly is a service required by a citizen. Let's, for example, a child who is past 12, what kind of services he will require. He will require to know that what are the colleges where he can apply, what kind of fee structure is there, what is the scholarships available or not. So if these kind of things, if we can bring and give to the citizen, then it will be a better way of showing that the government is more proactive and reactive. So in that aspect, what is more important for India is that it will also improve our work and productivity. By doing AI into the system, we will be able to make sure that the output is more productive. And as it has been already spoken since morning, that AI is the skill capital of the world. We have largest skill penetration in the world. So this will also bring the opportunity to, that the talent which we are building, or the talent which we have, can give a better services to the world outside. And also it will enhance the public service delivery. As I said that without AI, there would be some delays. So with AI we can mitigate those delays, and in fact AI will allow India to leapfrog from the traditional development cycle. It was also mentioned by Vikas, Vishal Duper, that India has started little late, but now since with AI we can leapfrog that development cycle. This is what the India's growth story is that, and we think that it is very important. In 2023, India was ranked 7th position by the global Stanford Index as a AI vibrancy. So we were far behind, and we looked into a lot of aspects why we have been lagged behind in other countries. So we had a lot of consultative processes. We came up with the consultation papers, and we understood that where we are lagging behind. And with those aspects taken into account, the AI mission was launched in 2024, which boosted the India's position from 7th to 24th. Within just coming up with a mission, which was a very critical mission, which looked into all the aspects of AI development, we brought the ranking from 7th to 4th. And while the AI was implemented as a part of India AI mission, with lot of output being generated as a mission, our index has gone up to the 3rd. So now today, with the mission implemented successfully in 1.5 years, we have improved our ranking to the 3rd position, and we are just behind US and China. And there are many things which is very important to look into. Like I have said that India is ranked as 1 in the skill penetration. We have, in fact, 2.5x times the global penetration compared to the global world. We have the skill penetration in India. Our talent is highest growth in the talent, 252% is the growth. So year on year, there is a growth in the talent. And in fact, the most important thing is that AI is not only restricted to male community, it is also females in India are looking AI, and they are going into the AI led jobs. So we have 1.9% female going into the AI, which is also higher than US, which is 1.7. And as I mentioned that with the implementation of AI mission, the ranking this year, which has been come out by the Stanford, we are ranked 3rd. And there is a year-on-year hiring percentage increase, that is 33% year-on-year. The skills have been hired, so which means that India has an advantage to become AI powerhouse. While there is a lot of advantage for India in the case of AI, though we have started late, but there are certain challenges which we need to look into and understand how we can incorporate those challenges by coming up these solutions which will be beneficial for India. We need to develop the indigenous foundation model, because currently it was talked about ChatGPT and other foundation models which we are using, which are not trained on Indian context data, and they are not having any understanding of the socio-economic realities of our country. So which is very important that we need to have our indigenous foundation model. Second, India is the richest country in the data set. So we need to make sure that the data which we have are quality, diverse, and will also bring all the context, so that any solution or a foundation model built on top of it will give more better solution output or more better results than what it has been looked into at the moment. And also the most important thing, which is the very critical pillar, which is the compute. Till the time the mission was not there, we had only 650 GPUs in our country, which was very low. And we wanted all the researchers in our country or the startups to use these GPUs, because GPUs, without the GPUs, anyone will not be able to build AI solutions. So we need to ramp up the access to the modern AI GPUs. And most important is that the guardrails are very important, because India is not going to come any regulation at the moment, because we are pro innovation and we don't want to hamper the innovation. So we are not going to come up with any innovation. We are going to follow a balanced approach, where by building the guardrails, we will be making sure that the solution is not biased, will also meet the global benchmark, and will also not create any harm to the users who are using the solution. And also we need to make sure that the advantage which we have with respect to the skilling, we need to make sure that we will make more AI trained skill sets available in the country. There are also societal implications because the AI is generally taken as a black box. So we don't have any transparency, interpretability, and also any understanding why this answer was given by a solution. We don't have any answer. So this is also one of the risk which is being looked into. And the second, that AI, in order for these models, they are to be trained on large data sets, and they generally crawl the internet and they take all the data sets available on the internet. So some data has IP and copyright and some are not. So we also need to understand how we will be able to handle the IPR and the copyright issues. And the Gen AI, they are basically have the ability to come up with the deep fake. So we have to also mitigate those challenges which have been created by these AI solutions. And to answer to all this is what I would say is the India AI mission. As a part of this, we are building an entire sovereign stack where we will be coming up with the compute infrastructure. Here we have already brought 38,000 GPUs from the 14 empaneled providers. We have all the computes which are actually available in the market, which is H100, H200, A325, A100, L40, L40S, all the kind of computes which are available, GB200 are available in this. So this is the compute layer which is the very important, which has been already built. On top of this, the second important aspect is data. We have already launched our AI course. More details will be given by my colleagues who will be talking about it. This is an AI course which is a repository of public and private data sets brought onto this platform. This has been launched only in this March, and as on date we have around 6,000 data sets, 250 models, and also 20 tools, plus we have also made available the compute, small compute available on it, so that any user who wants to, any developer who comes onto this course can take the data set, can try the model on a small compute, and if he is satisfied, then he will go to the compute infrastructure, take a larger compute and build a full-fledged application. The third important layer of the stack is the foundation model. As of now, we have been talked and we have been hearing about these 6 models which are being developed by the global north, which everyone is using. They have been trained on trillions and petabyte of information. In order to answer to those, we also have already started working on 12 foundation model. They are built on the Indian context and the Indian data sets, and these, some of them will be made available by February during the Impact Summit, so that it will be made available on the AI course, so that any developer, if he wants to use the foreign models, he can also use the foreign models which have been created, which have been installed on our servers, or if he wants to use an Indian model, that can be also made available through this. The next layer on which we are working is inferencing, as well as the orchestration layer. The work on this is going on. This will be next UPI for AI. This layer will be made available so that anyone can bring their solution and scale up the solution by giving the inferencing infrastructure. On this, work is being going on. So this we are just developing. And on top of it, there is an application and innovation layer, which is a citizen-centric layer, where we are working very closely with the state governments and the central ministries and building the applications which are actually their problem statements. And on those problem statements, we are trying to extract the data, maybe in the physical form or in the digital form, making it AI ready, bringing it on AI course and running the challenges for the department and identifying the best solution and giving it to the department. We have already done this kind of an innovation challenge. My team will talk about it, and this way we have identified 30 solutions in 5 critical domains, which will be talked about by my team in the next few minutes. The 2 pillars which are very important and which cut across all these pillars is, one, the safe and trusted, where India has already announced the AI Safety Institute, which is a hub of the Safety Institute, which will work with the research institutes of our country, and in this as a spoke, and we have already started working with 13 institutes, and we are working on the frameworks for ethics, bias mitigation, security tools, machine learning, deep fake tools, watermarking solutions. So we are working with 13 academic institutions, and we are building these tools. Some of the tools will be made available by February, and they will be also made available on Data Coach, because that is the layer where all the startups and researchers would be coming. And the most important layer is the skilling. One of the course which we have already announced, we are also working very closely with AICT and Ministry of Education and Higher Education, and building the skilling aspects with required for the AI. We have also working in a two-prong approach. We are giving fellowship, which was talked about a few minutes back, and more detail will be given by my colleague. And also we are creating a center where new opportunities and new job opportunities can be given to the students who are doing courses in ITIs and polytechnics. 570 such institutes will be created across the world in tier 2 and tier 3 city, and Rajasthan will be having 25 such centers in tier 2 and tier 3 cities of Rajasthan, where the courses which we have worked with the industry, what the industry requires, are made available, and we will be training the students over here. So this is the overall India AI stack which I wanted to mention about, and I'll ask my team member to come and give each details of the pillars, so that you all will be aware about what all things we have done.
Thank you, ma'am. So, as we walk through the details of the 7 pillars, which typically is to mobilize and democratize AI across India, I will just wear startup hat and try to explain the problems which each pillar tries to solve at different stage of the journey. I was doing a startup and working very well in a US market startups. When I came and thought like, let's just do something for India, I said, okay, healthcare is an interesting segment. Let's pick up a solution, US market is matured, develop something. When we pick up some of the US models, US data sets and start working over India, the India systems operate very differently. The data in India is very different. Your prescriptions are sometimes handwritten, sometimes the EMR systems which are used are very different. They are custom EMRs. Doctors will use EMRs provided by different agencies, practos and all those things, which are not 100% standardized. When we start using the models for diagnosis, the models are trained for white skins, sometimes the lesions are not visible. So when we start developing for India, the first challenge a startup face is, what's the data? How does the India data sets look like? Is it similar to the global data sets? Is it something which will be useful to develop the model on top of that? As a startup, a founder, I faced a challenge, hey, I do not get data. I started understanding a scenario where these data are different, but then I can collect my data, I can bring my family data. But is that sufficient sample to train the model? Maybe yes, but maybe just for inference, not to train the models. I need sufficient amount of data available to train the model. So I need someone to collate it. The data which is fragmented, the data which may be lying in government systems, India government ecosystems through East and Jeevnis and other, they have a lot of data sets, they give a lot of EMRs, they check a lot of patients across villages. Sometimes those patients are at different life cycle. The India topology is different, so we need data for that, because when you are doing projects for predicting the mines or predicting where the minerals are, you need to understand in topology. When you want to understand the problem of an agriculturist, of a kisan, you need to understand what are the issues a kisan is facing. जो यहाँ की खेत है, वहाँ पे क्या मिट्टी है, जब तक वो नहीं समझ में आएगी, हमें नहीं पता चलेगा कि यहाँ पे precision farming होगी कैसे. So we need to get that data. We need to get the data of patients. We need to get data of e-commerce which is happening. And the data in a volume which is not just used for inferencing, but also for training the models as well. Otherwise, as an economy, we will just remain someone who is using the AI, who is becoming consumer of AI, but who is not developing the AI. And that's where a pillar AI coach helps. It says that the first important thing to create AI, to become an AI generating station, to become an AI developer is to get the data. And data in a volume which makes training a model useful. India have diversity. India have different languages, different topography, different healthcare systems, different agriculture systems, different education systems. We need to get India data sets. We need to unlock both public data sets and private data sets. Without doing that, maybe we will just adopt systems or models from the outside which may not solve our problem. We will just go, hey, we have developed a model which can do a cancer prediction. I test on 5 patients, it won't work. Hey, I can test diabetes retinopathy through your DR scans. May not work in Indian context. The languages in which people are treated are different. So your foreign models may not work here. If you just say, hey, I give a data for inferencing, may not work there because you need sufficient amount of data to train the models. That's where AI Coach as a platform is getting developed. To collate the data in a form which is available. Sometimes it may not be sufficient, but at least letting people know how the data looks may also be useful so that you understand the processes in which the data is collected, how the model will be trained. I can start making some approaches so that as I build on top of that, I know the more data will get generated and the model will tune. But I need to get visibility to that data. The second thing as a starter which I need to do, hey, what are the Indian models which could be reused, which could be fine-tuned? I don't want to create any models from the scratch. That's where the model environment comes in, where 250 models are there, which are all Indian-centric, where you say, okay, these are the models, let me use. These are the Indian-specific models. Can I leverage it? And as an AI professional, can I download it and then set up my own inferencing, set up my own tuning on the India data sets, and then take it forward? You need people to tell the use cases. People are not aware of the use cases. The processes in which government is operating or a particular sector is operating is very different. We cannot just say we know everything. In the last session, like sir said, a 21-year-old guy coming and say, hey, I have an idea which can change the world. Won't happen. People have their own processes. The AI systems needs to be implemented in a process. Through the processes, people need to uncover the challenges which are there, the business challenges which AI would solve. So those use cases needs to be listed as well, so that the AI developer who is trying to solve a problem, he actually understands how the problem will be solved. He cannot just say, hey, I have built a model which will do everything for you. Even everyone who is using ChatGPT, in one prompt we don't get the final answers. It's a draft, iterations, reiterations. Then sometimes we have to work for the final draft on our own, because the output which we want is very different. If you want AI to move to the recommendation side, you have to put more data, you have to understand the context. Those contextual elements will come from the use cases, where the systems, the processes, where AI needs to be implemented. They will tell the problems which they are facing, and your AI solution which we develop, that will get embedded into it. So with that, when I know the data, I know the models which are available, and I know the use cases, the thing is, I need to start churning the model. I need to start processing it. Everyone doesn't have access to a high processing computers. People sometimes say, hey, even a 6 GB GPU based computer will cost over 1 lakh. I cannot afford it. And even before placing an order, at least I want to know what I will be able to do, whether a 6 GB system is good or a 100 GB system is good, or how much GPU processing is needed. So you get a basic compute infrastructure where you can test what is the processing speed, what benefit will I get, so that when you are making a larger investment to train larger models or on the systems or on the infrastructure to be developed, you know what you are going into. And then there's a community for the feedback, so that someone who is developing better than you, those feedbacks can come in. So that's where the AI Coach platform is built. A single source hub which provides startups, analytics developer with each element which helps them create models to create solutions which get deployed in the Indian context. Rather than just being an inferencing engine, it is a step toward moving toward a development of AI, where we empower people with the local context, local data sets, local models, local use cases. The platform is ready, the platform is open, where people are contributing. We are collating a lot of things. It's open platform for contribution, for usage, so that the community develops and it keeps on growing. The government is putting a push to create an infrastructure where your data set could be hosted, your models could be hosted, and it could be consumed as well. If I just talk about how this platform looks like, because I just did not want to just show, okay, there is AI Coach. It is live. Everyone on their mobiles can just type aicoach.indiaai.gov.in. Again, I repeat, aicoach.indiaai.gov.in. And they can start accessing the resources which are available. There are resources like data sets, there are resources like models, use cases which are there. You want to do more? There's a simple logins through DigiLocker. You just do a login, you will be able to download those things. You will be able to use those sandbox environment as well. And these are all live pictures which is taken from the platform, so that you don't feel, okay, there is something which is coming. This is all live photo, very easy. You can just log in and start using it. And for people who say, hey, I'm not an AI developer, but I want to start using AI. Things start, hey, can I list my use case, the problem which I'm having? You can list them. Can I give my data so that people who start creating the AI, they create for the context which is relevant to me? You can contribute your data sets. It's not just, okay, there is a data set which has been collated and people can contribute. Both public, private, all can contribute the data sets. They can contribute the models, use cases. They want to showcase their toolkits which may have a different utility, they can do that. They want to start leveraging some of the sandbox environment, or they want their teams to start exploring, they can do that. And again, all those without putting any money, just accessing the platform. Just to showcase the variety, the data sets, structured, unstructured data, image data sets, aggregate data sets, health data sets, all the variety of data sets has been tried to capture. Again, some things which keeps on growing as well, something where the contribution also becomes important from all of you, the startups, the business community who wants to start using or leveraging AI. There are a lot of models as well. The models which may be large, Bharat models, fractal models, lots of language models are there, lots of word models are there. So all the different sizes of models which you can start downloading, rather than just becoming a person who inferences something, they can also start downloading, installing on over their system, start tuning them as well, so that AI just as an inferencing layer, like people are saying, just as ChatGPT, you don't stop on that. You know what goes in the brain as well, how it's working. If we talk about, hey, there are a million parameters in it, there are a lot of elements, there are a lot of weights in it, those all are stored in those files, those model objects, which could be downloaded and installed, rather than just saying I'm using an inferencing engine where I will do some input and see the output. You can actually see all those files which are developed as a model object and tune on top of that. Those systems can be leveraged for your own context. Those data on those data sets, you can try your own, you can contribute the data sets so that people start developing AI solutions on your data as well. To move forward, the next pillar, as we start developing the model, the problem becomes, hey, I want to have the inferencing because that's where people will actually start using it, the application layer. I build a small model. I want the application layer. The problem, the model has to be integrated in the application. There is a process in which AI will help. I want to put a recommender system. Hey, whether the claim needs to be approved or not, whether somebody needs to be given credit or not. There is a process defined through which those files will come, those applications will come, the AI will process it, and then your output will be, hey, the money gets, the loan gets sanctioned and it gets dispersed. Your AI is using the data, giving whether the credit needs to be given or not, and how much credit needs to be given. It has to be embedded. It has to be embedded in the entire solution. That's where, as we move toward applications, what we support is, one, supporting startups in accessing or mentoring where those gaps are, and secondly, helping startups gain the opportunity, how it will be embedded into the system, creating those opportunities through hackathons, innovation challenges, and in the public infrastructure or in the public environment, just to help people understand if you want to get AI started, how your business problem will be formulated to an AI problem, so that AI community could develop it and the solution will become integrated to your processes to give you benefit of the AI. For everything, you cannot keep on going to the chat GPT or say, okay, that's all AI which I'm using. In your processor, it needs to become intelligent. We were talking about digital workforces. If those digital workforces needs to be developed, your digital workforces are given a role. There are a lot of agentic systems which are being developed. Agents for HR, agent for taking whether the claims need to be processed or not, agents who are just understanding what is the recommendation which needs to be given, or agents to just analyze the data and say, okay, where the real problem is. I can come and see my project is stuck because if people are not supporting. The other people will come, I have provided all the support. The law will say something. You need agents to analyze all these three perspectives and say, hey, where the core problem is, why the project is getting stuck, and then take decisions on top of that. To get these data, to get into the processes for those recommendations and implementation into those working systems or processes, where this digital workforce feeds into another digital workforce so that the action gets taken. That is a necessity. That's where India works with government ecosystems. They work with states to first formulate the problem and secondly, generate the opportunities for startups through hackathons and innovation challenges so that they can build the solutions and which could be deployed in the real world case. I've created a model, may not be deployed. I will just give an example. Hey, there is a solution which we are supporting where just through chest x-ray you can detect TBs. But imagine your chest x-ray needs to be taken. There's a machine in which your data needs to feed. So this AI solution, if it's fed into the chest x-ray system, it will be much better in public health infrastructure where hey, there is a machine a person is taking, is clicking a chest x-ray, the AI machine runs on the top of that x-ray and gives you that report like, okay, this through this x-ray, the TB is found or not found and these are all the findings which are there. Otherwise, the system would be, hey, I'm asking someone, hey, you feed me the x-ray, then I will give you the results. May not happen. That's where you need to start thinking the endpoint delivery where all the endpoint systems are deployed. We have identified a lot of startups. We have worked on startups in agriculture, in health, in education, in assistive learning, climate change and governance. Looked at around 900 plus applications, shortlisted 30, which are getting deployed or piloted for public use cases or scale up in some or the other formats. These are available, these startups are getting supported. If any government official want to say, hey, I want to do something in health, I want to do something in climate change for assistive learning, these solutions are there which could be piloted, tested out through our support so that the government could take it forward as well. We support a lot of niche problems because AI, we cannot just enforce on people, AI in governance needs to be there as well. AI in government system needs to be there. We do policy makings, we do schemes, we do scheme implementation. So that's where the AI needs to be embedded as well. So we did some of those hackathons so that people, just imagine, they are interacting with us for the grievances. They need their resolution faster. They choose a wrong department, those files keep on moving. Through those AI, those charging can happen fast. We have a document solutions because a lot of things runs on document. So that the intelligent document processing happens, so that the rate at which the output is done, the efficiency could be increased as well. The churning of output could be increased. People talk about, hey, will AI take away jobs? I say, with AI, we will have more solutions, more productivity, more efficiency, which will keep on churning. So that's where through IADH pillar, we start creating those opportunities through innovation challenges and hackathons. So we talked about data, we talked about applications. The other thing which comes in, yeah, I want to scale up, I need compute. That's where everyone has been talking about the compute infrastructure which has been provisioned by India AI. Again, for global north nations, sometimes the cost may not be high. They can afford $3 per hour. Our startup people, if we say $3 per hour, just imagine $3 per hour, even if I say 300 rupees into 24 hours, 7,200 rupees into 30 days, more than 2 lakhs a month. Not sustainable. Not 2 lakhs, 20 lakhs a month. Not sustainable. That's where we provide access to infrastructure which is both cost effective and subsidized as well for research and others. And the variety in which it gets provisioned is huge. There are all the different kind of chip systems which are there, A100, H100s, H200s. Those are empaneled. We are also creating a lot of sovereign infrastructure as well, so that AI in governance could be encouraged as well, so that the data remains secure and the AI for governance could be established for the government ecosystems as well. The students are using it, the startups are using it, and the researchers are using it as well. The other thing which India needs to do in order to become Atmanirbhar is to have their own GPTs or even advanced GPTs. Just imagine, we talk, we have different languages. The next area will be very different. The language models have just cracked one mode of communication. We talk in 3Ds, videos, there are live interaction which is happening. So your AI needs to evolve as well. So we are supporting some of those which works on not just language models, but on different multimodal models, working on videos, working on different images and everything. And we are expecting India to get their own sovereign models as well. We have supported 12 plus startups who are creating large language models or some sector focused SLMs as well, which we are expecting to start delivering results. All are not just focused on language models, but some are multimodal models in very different world. And the intent is India to have their own models. Maybe it will take time to advance to the next levels, but then as the data gets fed in, the skills get developed, we will be able to scale much better than anyone in the global north as well. So that's where the first step has been taken. So as an AI mission, what we are intending to do is to support different ecosystems, creating foundation, creating infrastructure for startups so that these applications could be developed, which would be for all the people. It becomes next year UPI of the world. And that's where even developing people will be important. That's where I will hand it over to my colleague Karthik, who will take for developing the entire system, how the ecosystem gets supported through future skills, startups, and to make it safe and trusted as well. I will hand it over to my colleague.
For us, but all encompassing, you need a lot of skill sets which you need to actually imbibe in the talent that's getting ready for the world of work, and that's something that that we're also focusing on. Pretty much looks at three sub verticals within future skills. Approved, and we are in touch with the skill and entrepreneurship development department here to get those labs established across Rajasthan. We already have an operational lab in Bikaner, so just in case if people would want to visit, you should visit the Nilet Center at Bikaner, which is a 20-seater data and AI lab which has GPUs available, a couple of them, and also courses around data annotation and data curation that the CEO Shri Abhishek Singh ji actually spoke about a couple of hours back on that. We're also offering those courses in these data labs. Today there was also this announcement about the very, very basic foundational course, which is UI AI for all, which is also something that we are focusing on. And hopefully we'll try and see if we can get that up on the iStart LMS platform that's also launched today by the state government. The third and critical element in developing and nurturing this talent is also offering fellowships. So when you look at the labs, it's pretty much housed in the ITIs and the polytechnics, but it is not necessarily for those students, it is for students in the entire community. But if you go a couple of grades higher, students who are pursuing their undergraduates or postgraduates or even PhD research are entitled to look at India AI fellowships, which we are offering for students irrespective of disciplines, but students who are actually working on AI-based projects again. So that is something that that we've started off, and we roughly about 13,500 fellowships to be awarded, and this is just the start. This is the one that you'd seen in the morning for all of them who were there at the main conference hall. It's a 4.5-hour course, UI AI for all, which is available on the Future Skills Prime network, Future Skills Prime portal, which is available for everybody to go and consume. The QR code is there, which you can actually scan and probably access that course. It's a very, very simple course. It's for everybody who's there in this room today, and even those who can probably even ask their parents and children to also consume it. It's absolutely very simple. It doesn't need you to have any form of a coding background. It is a very, very non-techie and non-coding type of a curriculum that's been curated. And a lot of it is very contextual. The examples are very real life, something that you can relate to, and something which is very, very contextual in terms of India. Yeah, and this is on the fellowships that I said. We also are offering fellowship amount of about ₹1,00,000 to undergrad students in the final semester, and also for dual degree students in their final year. We offer about 2 lakh fellowships to students who are pursuing their post-graduation. And then for PhD students, it is pretty much in line with the PMRF scheme that all of us are aware of. So it starts with about 70,000 per month stipend and goes to about 80,000 per month stipend in the last year. And they also have the research contingency grant and all. Other interesting thing that we have also done for fellowships is we've also started assigning them mentors. So we have industry mentors who are mapped to these fellows, who are able to give them relevant guidance in terms of what projects should be taken up and how the projects could be tweaked in terms of giving them access to resources and support that they would need. This is some of the numbers. We've just started, giving out fellowships. IIT Jodhpur being one of the prominent institutes in Rajasthan which takes these fellowships also. And like I said, these are across Nilet centers and the ITIs and polytechnics across the country. Almost about 300 of them have been identified right now, and about 25 of them are already identified in Rajasthan and approved to established. Then we look at the startup financing, which is another critical pillar, which is again, for all the work that happens in this space, obviously if there are some promising startups which are already there, good place to connect for, and we try and see if there's a way where we can streamline some of this access to that funding depending on the stage at which the startups are, provide mentorship, market access and recognition, and also harnessing a network, getting them connected to a network of incubators and accelerators. This is something that the startup, the AI startup vertical within the AI mission actually aspires to lead into. We've also already identified about 10 startups through a certain process that we had selected and sent them to Paris and for a 4-month immersive program at the Station F campus where they spent about a good amount of time. We also helped them connect to mentors in the startup community and also with investors. They're also focusing on a center of excellence, which is slightly on a larger scale, where every state gets allotted number of center of excellence. I think for Rajasthan, it's about 2 COEs that we have already allotted, and and that's also something which is again in collaboration with the state funding and center also funding, and with industry also participating it in the ratio of 40s to 20. That's how it is. But you could look at that as a space where you can do skilling, you can take it as a capacity building center, you can nurture startups, you can give them space to come, incubate startups in these places. And there's a lot of other elements of activities that could actually be conducted around setting up this AIC. Like I said, more about encouraging research, talent development, local solutions, and even enabling and unlocking capital for startups. The other part is obviously the safe and trusted AI part, which is also equally important. Considering all these things that's happening in AI, it's we need to be very mindful in terms of how things are being developed, what are the guardrails. There are a lot of governance guidelines that the AI mission had recently released. You should go onto the website to check the recent AI governance guidelines that were released in November, which primarily talks about encouraging innovation throughout the country and using AI as a technology, but at the same time be mindful about what are the risks it could probably come up with. So make sure that all those components are taken care of. There are a lot of academia that we have already, and some private partners or some partners whom we have already tied up with to run some of these projects under the safe and trusted mission. If you see, most of the projects and the themes are all around governance and ethical certifications and explainable frameworks and all, which are very, very crucial today, considering the way AI has got into our lives on a daily basis. But then those are spokes. We operationalizing all these things through an India AI Safety Institute, which is also being set up, which works with research institutes and NGOs and startups and industries and civil societies of that matter. And the objective is to create a very inclusive ecosystem, ensure that we are unlocking AI for inclusive growth, mitigating the societal risks and the harms that AI could bring. Also, at the same time, aligning AI with other global standards that are being set up across the other countries, and hence enabling a very, very favorable ecosystem. I just want to hand it over to ma'am again so that she can just quickly run you through the scheme of things around the upcoming India AI Impact Summit in February. Thank you.
By this time, you all have heard about the India is hosting the 4th largest Impact Global Summit. So just I'll take you briefly through the how the journey has started and what exactly we are wanting to do as a part of this summit. This is the 4th series in the Global AI Impact Summit. The series was started by UK in 2023 in the Bletchley Park. The whole focus of the summit was basically of the safety of frontier AI systems. 27 countries participated, and as an output of the summit, there was a declaration which was signed by 30 organizations was signed. The next in the series was Seoul Summit, which was in 2024. It was co-chaired by UK. The shift of the summit was primarily not only safety, but they also brought in the concept of innovation into it. So safety of the frontier systems along with the innovation. There 28 countries participated and signed the output document. The next in the series was France, which was in 2025. This was co-chaired by India. And the whole focus of the summit was not only safety, innovation, but what AI action can be taken as a part of the country. 100 countries participated and 64 countries signed as an output document. The 2 major countries which didn't sign the document was US and UK. Now the India, as it co-chaired the summit of 2025, our Honorable PM participated and he announced that the next in the series will be done by India, and that's how the February 2026 India is hosting the series. This is first in the series which has been done in the Global South. If you see, all the 3 has been done in the Global North. And the scale of the summit has been increased substantially. In fact, we as a part of the summit would like to democratize AI and shape the AI discourse, and that's the reason we are not only talking about safety, security and action, but our main focus of the summit is how AI has impacted 140 crore people of our country. And if an AI can impact such a large democracy, then it can certainly give benefit to the other countries. So we have shifted the whole narrative of the discourse to the impact of AI. And we will enable the democratization of AI, which has been the focus of our country. We have been already talking about how we can democratize AI, make AI accessible and available to the common man as well as to the researchers and the community. We will be talking about the indigenous and the local AI solutions, which we think the impact will only come if we have the indigenous as well as the local solutions. And we would like to have AI for good solutions in the sectors like healthcare, agriculture and governance, because that is how we can touch the larger population. And we are very sure about whatever we do, it will align to the global global standards, and also it will have the governance which will be focusing on innovation, and will also make sure that the requirement of the developing world will be talked about. And as I said, that this is the first time the summit is being hosted in the Global South, so we will make sure that we will voice the discourse of the Global South. We have kept a target for ourselves. We are hosting 15 plus head of countries participating. 8 already have confirmed. The countries which have confirmed is France, Switzerland, Spain, Estonia, and they are the few ones which have, Brazil, they have confirmed the participation. 50 plus global AI leaders will be participating, and we have already crossed these numbers. The top CEOs, as you already heard, that Jensen Huang is coming, then Mistral is coming, Sam Altman is coming, and all those big CEOs of Philips, they are participating in the summit. 300 plus side events, and we have already surpassed this number. Initially we had kept number of 200. Since we've surpassed, now we have kept the target for ourselves as 300, and this is also one of the pre-summit event, and I think we have already surpassed 315 side events which will be leading up to the main summit. 15 plus tangible outputs we are expecting, like democratization of AI resources, tools, AI commons. We are also thinking about coming up with the AI awards, which will be done year on year. Whichever country would be hosting the AI summit will be hosting the award. So 15 such tangible outputs we are expecting. 40,000 people we are expecting during the Impact Week, Summit Week, which is starting from 15th of February till 20th of February. I'll be sharing the details about that. And during the pre-summit events, 1 lakh people we are expecting, and I think with the kind of audience we have in Rajasthan and other places where we have done the pre-summit events, certainly we will surpass this number. The summit will bring together, as I said, that the country heads, already 8 of the country heads have already confirmed. International organizations, 6 international organizations have already confirmed, UN, World Bank, OECD, UNESCO, and all few of them I remember they have confirmed. 6 of such have confirmed. Top CEOs of AI companies have confirmed. We have almost 200 confirmations of these top CEOs who are participating. Indian tech leaders like Adani, Ambani's, Tata, I think HCL, and all these organizations have already confirmed. Researchers and academia, Yoshua Bengio is coming, Fifi Lee is coming, and others have already confirmed they are coming, and we will be having more than 300 plus startups who will be participating in the expo, which will be running from 16th to 20th of February. The summit will be hosted at 5 locations, since we had kept a target of 300 sessions, but when we had opened the call for proposal, we had got 700 applications to have the main summit events. So we have to in fact increase the number of halls. So the main summit will be happening in Bharat Mandapam, but there will be other halls also where the summit will be happening, which is in Vigyan Bhavan. It's Vigyan Bhavan, Ambedkar Bhavan, Sushma Swaraj Bhavan, and the Central Park, which will be having an event called Innovation Festival, which will be starting from 15th of Feb, which is a Sunday, and will go across till the 20th. This will be at the Central Park of the Connaught Place. As I said that there is a lot of momentum in the event, 300 plus pre-summit events, 7 regional summits. We have all touched across 300 summits. Out of 7 regional convenings, this is the 3rd one. 4 more are going to be happening till 30th of January. 25 working group meetings. In fact, we have 7 working groups as the focus is impact. It is built on 3 sutras: people, planet, and progress. And we have 7 chakras, which are the working groups. Each working group will be having 4 meetings, 3 in virtual and 1 will be in hybrid. So already 3 working groups have had the hybrid meeting. So we will be having 4 more, which is now in Mumbai, in Hyderabad, in Lucknow, and Trivandrum. 4 more will be happening, which will be completing by 30th of this month. We will be having Innovation Festival, AI Expo, flagship events. We have announced 3 flagship events. I will be talking about it in the later slides. Research Symposium, Leaders Plenary, Main Summit event, CEO Roundtable, and the Global Partnership on AI Council Round meeting, where 47 countries will be participating in this council meeting. 20 plus countries have already done the pre-summit events. 18 states, including Rajasthan, had events, and 60 cities have been covered. We are trying to make sure that we are covering tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 cities of the country, so that we can have a lot of Jan Bhagidari. Basically, these pre-summit events at these states and the regional summits are nothing but the Jan Bhagidari, so that the common man in our country would know what the Impact Summit is about. These are just the snapshots of these summits. As I said, that 3 have already these regional summits have happened. The next one is in Lucknow, Bhopal, and Hyderabad, and the last one is in Trivandrum. And I would invite all the startups who are over here, if they're interested, they can also participate in other regional summits also to understand what is happening in that state. These are the working groups. 3 have already completed, 8 we are having in Mumbai, Lucknow, Hyderabad, and Bangalore is the last one which we'll be having. The Impact Summit, we had announced 3 global challenges: AI for all, which was basically open for all students, startups, as well as women-led startups. So we have got 1350 application, in which 21% is international. AI by Her, where we were focusing that the entrepreneurship role was being led by a female. 800 applications, 17% is international. And Yuva AI, which was only meant from 18 to 21 age group, we have 2500 application, 10% is international. We will be showcasing all this during the Impact Summit in the February. This is just the glance what we will be doing. The 15th February, there will be inauguration of Innovation Festival in the Connaught Place, Central Park. It will run till 20th of February. The expo will be inaugurated by Honorable PM on 16th. We have taken 75,000 square meter space. We were giving the space to startups, to countries, to states, to industries to come put and show the world that what the AI impact has brought in their organization as well as in the country. The summit events showcasing will be done by AI by Her, Yuva AI, and all. They will be culminating during 16 to 18, just 2 minutes. And the research symposium, where the researchers across the world would be coming and will be talking about the research in AI, and also the basic research and the applied research. They will be talking about the applied research, where all the researchers have mentioned, Joshua Bengio, Fifi Lee, and all those people will be coming and talking about. And the summit weeks, we will be having around 600 sessions or events during 16th to 20th during this events we will be having. So this is just the layouts and what exactly the Innovation Festival will be having. It will be having a virtual try-on, then interactive music wall, the epicenter, the fulcrum, and lot of interest will be built by how AI and innovation can work together. So the entire expo will be having the platform showcased by the India ecosystem, global corporates and startups. Interactive zones will be created, country pavilions will be there. So total 70,000 square meters of the expo space is there, and I would ask the startups to start applying for the space so that they can be given booths. Research symposium, there will be plenary session by Nobel laureates. These are the Nobel laureates and the speakers who are coming. So you can see the kind of speakers we are having during the summit. So it is one of the summit of its own kind where such Nobel laureates will be coming and speaking about the basic research of AI and the applied research of AI. Also, we will be coming out with a lot of global showcases like in health, energy, gender empowerment, agriculture, and we are working with the international organizations to come up with these kind of compendiums. So a lot of deliverables are going to come out. Some of them, as I've already mentioned, are part of the 15 deliverables. These are the 7 working groups which are working, and their output document will be taking up to the leaders' declaration, which will be signed by the countries who are participating in the global summit. These are the kind of organizations who have confirmed and working with us, and this is what I just wanted to mention. And I would request all of you to participate in the summit by setting up stalls, by participating in the main events. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you to all our panelists for such a wonderful session. Indeed, we got a deep insight about that. Before this, I'd like to now invite Mr. Deepak Dev Haritwal, Deputy Director, DOITC, to please join us here on stage and to felicitate our speakers. And indeed, I must say that all of us sitting here, this was very insightful session. This entire AI Impact Summit must have given you a great amount of knowledge and a lot of areas where we now understand where we can participate, how the government is helping us and how we can also add on to this thing. So let's have a clap for this entire presentation. I'm sure that this is the smallest way we can let them know that not only that this session has added a value to our life, but also thanks to them for giving the time and for doing so much of work. So thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir, for a wonderful session. Thank you. It's